reflecting on the life of a great man over the past week, I've been thinking about this a lot. What do we do that really matters, that has lasting impact? Um, this week was especially difficult. This was the father of my father. My father passed. It's been 16 years now, and I'm the last Mills man in my bloodline. And I've got all daughters, and so it's all like really hitting. They're all Mills. Well, two of them are Mills right now, so like we've still got them. Now I've got an uncle who's got sons, and will carry that name far along. And it's been an interesting thing because and this is something I've thought about for a long time. I can't possibly find my sense of pride in my name because I'm likely not going to pass it along to future generations. And so if it's not about that, that removes a whole bunch of my ego. That would be something that what I would focus on instead are the things that really matter. What are the results? I want to take it back. In the past couple of weeks, I've been doing a word study with y'all as we look at these affirmations. And because I truly, if what we measure matter, or we measure what matters, and the words that we use, if we pay attention to them, I think we can expand the impact of these words if we truly understand what they mean. And so there's two words that I want to look at this morning. It's activity and it's result. Activity, I think often we confuse with meaning busyness, doing something, doing anything. We're very active. When truly the root of this is something very productive by nature. Um, it is not activity. I'm silencing my notifications here. It is not activity if it does not make any matter whatsoever. The root of it is actually the word ag. And this is an ancient word. It was actually a sound more than anything. Ag was before we were formally producing words that we would write and share. And the idea of ag, you can hear it, it's in a lot of things, like the word agriculture, but it means to move forward. And its root origins were with herdsmen moving like uh, large herds of cattle or sheep in certain directions. And so the only thing that ag or activity meant, I mean, it's direct, like activity is just, it's the production of moving something significant forward. It's something larger than what you can move forward on your own. And so how do we move a herd of cattle forward? Well, we focus on the lead steer or the ones that are going to move that the rest of the herd is going to follow. We do everything that we can to produce some kind of movement in those very few cattle where the other 100 are going to follow them. I think it's so interesting because in the very definition of the word, the root origin of the word activity gives us our clues to what what we do. Like, what is activity? If we want to move 100 things forward, what are the very few that we can actually do something about that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? If I get the lead steer moving in the right direction, I don't have to worry about moving all the rest of the cattle. They move on their own. I've got to move the one. In fact, if I spend all of my time trying to move all the other, like if I find the baby calves and I'm like, well, this is really easy because I can actually just grab it and I can move it and it's simple. Like it's within my control and I can move it over here and I feel good because I've got one pointed in the right direction. But the truth is, nothing else is moving after it. In fact, if something else moves after that calf, it's probably in a reaction to me moving that calf. And it's probably coming after me, not moving in the same direction that I pointed that calf. So my efforts are better spent looking for the leaders that everyone else is going to follow. Result is a really interesting word as well. The root of it, I want to pull this up so I can give you um, specifics. So the root of result is salire or saltare, and would mean for it to happen again. Salire is the physical act of leaping or jumping. It is literally what you do with your body to leap or to jump. Resultare, results, would be for it to happen back, to bounce back, to jump back. And so the oldest definitions of this, the reason they used this word resultare was an echo. So if you threw sound into a canyon, you're going to get sound back to you. That's the resultare. It's the sound that you sent bouncing back to you. So the activities that we focus, remember, activity is only an activity if it's doing something that matters significantly, that it moves everything forward. The results is the reflection you get from it. It's what happened because of that. Your activity actually moves those things forward, but the moving of it forward, that may be success. That's the outcome immediately and what happened, but that's not the results yet. In fact, so often our results are really, really far off. In fact, the more significant your activity, the more distant your results are going to be, and the longer it's going to be before you get any kind of reflection from it. Uh, I could tell in my business, the most significant things that I've done are, I think, two things. One, the businesses, or sorry, the people that I've built, that have gone out and built business. Talk about a long result. Long result in two ways. One, it takes a long time if you're building people to see the results that those people go and create. If you're building people, they're going to go out and drive things forward that matter most, and they're going to have a long result. And it may be even longer before I see the results as well. So building people, very, very long results. Secondly, if I look for my real estate sales business, the most significant things that I've done are right here in the neighborhood that I sit right now. Y'all, it was 3.5 years before I got any kind of indication that what I was doing on a daily basis was working. But I had all these people surrounding me saying, well, if you do this, if you do this, if you do this, it'll pan out, it'll turn out. And then you read the books, you're like, well, make sure to send mailers for at least 6 months. Y'all, if I'd given up at 6 months, I had another 3 years before anything significant really came back in return. The best results are very long off. And the idea is that you've got to continue focusing on the activities so much with the faith that it will pan out, that your immediate success, whatever you see as the outcome of what you're doing now, that if you continue to get those outcomes, that eventually it will return to you, something of significance. I think back about my grandfather, and I just want to talk about some of the things that he had chosen as activities and the results that they've created. First, I want to talk about his results. At the time of his passing, he had 9 grandchildren and 23 great-grandchildren. How incredible is that? He had no direct hand in those great-grandchildren, in like the bringing to the world, right? It's the things that he chose to do over the course of his life that brought all this fruit to the world. Here's what's wild: 23 great-grandchildren. First off, that's a pretty cool very first echo that you've done something significant in life, that people would want to go and populate the world with these amazing people that they came from. It's pretty awesome. Like, how broad is this family lineage going to be from him, that at the time of his passing, he's already got 23 that are 3 generations down. Pretty incredible. And there are a number of things that he's done. Well, let me talk about his activities, because then we can look at the results that have been created. So the activities that he's chosen is pretty wild. He spent his time working. He was a mechanic in the Navy, spent time working the engine rooms in aircraft carriers. He went and worked for aerospace firms, helping to design and build the space shuttle. He worked on computer systems for NASA. He did a lot of really cool stuff. when he was done with his working years, first off, he was a real estate agent before I knew real estate agents were cool. He wore a gold jacket. It didn't last very long because well, anyhow, I won't go there. The what he chose to spend his time with, though, were things of beauty. It's incredible. He was a man of technical expertise. He was a man of discipline. And yet the things that he spent his time on were like these fine-tuned skills. He loved fishing. He spent many, many, many years doing pottery. In fact, if y'all are ever around my house, there are a number of things around crafted beautiful pottery. And he spent like the last 3 decades as a painter. And he loved to paint sunsets and coastal landscapes and all kinds of really neat stuff. He's the man that gave me guitar lessons when I was a kid. I didn't practice very often, but I became a musician at his recommendation. He filled the spaces with music always. Like he would play the harmonica while he was driving. That's when he practiced playing, played the banjo and all sorts of other things. And he had a heart for ministry. For over 4 decades, he was in children's ministry, and his greatest pride in the world was leading little children um, to Jesus. And so it's been really cool to see the people in his lineage take up ministry in different ways. And I just got to imagine he's so proud. Here's the thing, his heart was with the children, regardless of everything that he did. He spent 40 years until he was 90 years old in children's ministry. In fact, at his most recent church, he went at 80 years old and told the pastor what he wanted to do. And the pastor was like, that doesn't make any sense. But I like, if this is what you're passionate about. So my grandpa and grandma went and spent another decade in that. Like that was his passion up till his final days. So to see all these little children, seeing them splashing in the pool, he had a bunch of his great grandchildren together, getting to know each other as cousins over the course of the week. And those are the results that matter. So if it's something in your world, in your business that gives you more time to do what you're passionate about, to be with the people you're passionate about, do that. If it is something that is distracting and you're doing it because it feels good right now, or because it feels easy and it helps you keep away from the things that are the most difficult, I would really ask you to interrogate, are you developing skill in something? Is it a long production? Whatever it is that is going to rebound and come back to you, the results that you have, are you spending your time on activities that are pointed toward those results? Because I know there's a temptation for us to just kind of spin our wheels. And I realize I'm out of time and I've got so much more to say, but I imagine I'll be unpacking a lot of this over time. But I think that's it. This is not a math equation. It shows up in math because patterns, like math is everywhere in life. There are patterns everywhere in life. And so it's not the 20% creates the 80%. It's that this pattern that when we focus our efforts on the most important things, it creates really long-term big results. That results in the 20 becoming the 80. It's not about the 80-20. It's about doing the most important things.